Yes.
Taking my freedom, pulling it off the shadow, putting it on my chain, putting it from my neck. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my car, wherever I choose to go. It won't take me far. I'm living my life like it's golden, 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 golden, living my life like it's golden, living my
All right, we living our life like it's golden.
Yes. Yes. Hello, everyone.
So
we are back.
We are back like we never left. So you all, life has definitely been lifing, and this is a new segment. We welcome in summer. Happy summer to everyone.
And happy summer.
Yes. So what is our topic for today, Miss Plymouth?
Well, once again, welcome to Living Beauty Beyond 50. Thank you guys for coming in. And our topic for today, let's just get into it, okay? Because it has been a while since we've been here and we've been trying to find the right topic for you guys. But we're going to talk about something that's going to, engage with everyone, the 4 C's in marriage.
Yes, marriage. And how many years have you been married?
Honey, we just made it to 20 years this year. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
And you and yourself. You're a veteran in this thing. I'm learning from you guys.
Woo! This September will be 29 years married.
Oh, wow.
37 years together.
That is a blessing. That is a blessing.
Yes.
And we must applaud that. We must applaud that. Gosh, God is good. God is good. We are so grateful for it.
Only God. Only God.
Only. Yes. Hallelujah.
Yes. If he's not in that third chord, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
That's true.
It's your first ministry. Marriage is your first ministry.
Most definitely.
So let's get into it. You said we were getting into it. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So our first topic that we said we were going to get into was going to be conflict. Conflict. Well, look, we really getting into it. We start with the C. The first C in marriage in this topic is going to be conflict. And you want to start out? You want me to start out? As far as conflict, yeah, go ahead.
Start out with conflict. One thing about marriage, it has times where there is conflict. And really, I think with sometimes we think of that as a bad thing, but I personally think of it as a good thing because I can learn what my partner is feeling and how he's feeling it without getting mad, upset. I'm not your girl who goes to bed angry. I am going to clear up everything before the night falls because I don't ever want to go to bed with that type of feeling that things are like unsettled.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband says that sometimes I can be very straightforward. But that's part of my personality.
That's your personality.
It's part of my personality. And so sometimes when conflict does arise, sometimes I'm rising up with the conflict. And I have to learn that. And I've had to learn that, just relax and listen. I've learned to listen throughout conflict. What about yourself?
Yeah, do me a favor, clean your lens.
My lens.
Yeah, just clean your lens. So conflict.
Let me put my
Conflict for me, very similar to you. You know, conflict is different for everyone, right? So a lot of people feel like when you have a conversation with your significant other, it's always going to be conflict. And sometimes we do get really passionate about how we feel. And what I try to tell my clients and ladies that I know, you know, because we talk like this all the time, right? We want to get our point across, and our husbands are talking like this because their voices are very, very deep. So it always looks like we're the crazy one. So what I'm trying to explain with people is that we need to talk at 5. We need to talk a little more calmer. We need to understand, because I am over 50 now, and you know I want to make sure I stay here for another 50 years. So conflict is one that I'm not trying to do a lot of. So now my husband is like, I can't hear you. What did you say? And I'm like, I'm almost mumbling. But I'm not going to sit here and say that we haven't had disagreements or conflicts. And but what one thing we aren't going to do is go to bed and not be in the same room. And one thing we're not going to do is be in in different houses. One thing we're not going to do is go and run and tell someone else our problems. So that's one thing I would share that people need to make sure that they do in marriage. And one way that you can stay married 20 plus or even 5 nowadays, Miss LaRonda.
yes.
5 years. One thing you can do is communication. And that's one of our C's also. Communicating is one of the key things that we need to do in a marriage is to make sure that you sit down and I know for me, and you have a wonderful husband that loves to work, not like. Our husband love working, and I
Yes,
praise
we
God for
definitely
that.
have.
Hallelujah.
Thank
I
you,
praise God
Jesus.
that he loves to work. But I also have to make sure that he communicates with me. I don't want him to come home from work and I not know how his day was. Sometimes my day has been hectic too. And some days we don't want to listen, you guys, but some days we got to listen. Or we need to ask them, how is everything going? How was your day at work? Even though we do hair. We're hairstylists. So we're always, something always on our shoulders, right? We need to
Yes,
make
honey.
sure, we need to make sure we communicate how we feel, how we're feeling at that time, even if they don't want to hear it. Hey, you need to sit down and hear how I feel today because I'm feeling some type of way about maybe what you have said, what you have done, why we didn't do this. I've been holding this for a few days and we need to sit down and talk about it. How about you, Mr. Rhonda?
I can concur. We're blessed. We're actually, I mean, we are truly blessed that we do have spouses who don't mind working, who loves to give to their family and present
Yeah,
them with things. And with
great providers.
yes, yes, great providers, but with those great providers comes a lot of stress for them.
Yes.
And we don't want to add to their stress when they come home with a nagging or conflicting atmosphere. We want
Yeah,
the home to be a place of peace, serenity. We want them to be able to relax when they get home because they left that high stress occupation and they're coming into the home. They don't want their stress level to stay up here. We want to kind of ease them on down.
exactly.
And like you said, our jobs we do carry a lot on our shoulders, but
Mm-hmm.
part of our ministry is to, bring our husbands back into that zen. We
Uh-huh.
learn to bring them back into that zen. And part of that is to comfort them when they come home. And I do sometimes, I know I can work my husband because I want to talk, but I want to talk about us. I,
Yeah.
I don't technically, I don't prefer to talk about, you know, my job when I get home because I talk
Not at all.
day long. And like you said, we talk at high volumes. And then we get home. Sometimes when I get home, my voice is hoarse because
Mm-hmm.
I talk so much and I'm talking over so people can hear me. And I've learned that elevates my body. So I'm
Blood pressure and etc.
yes, I'm trying to deal with the soft life at this age. I want to be softer. I want to be calmer. I want to just be overall on an even keel. So,
And being calmer, that makes our spouses calmer because we all know God first, husband, family second, and everything else go. Well, it's God first, family second, and everything. And family, I mean husband, then the kids, right? So, I tell people all the time, we're out of order. Women be out of order sometimes. I know y'all don't want to hear this. I know you don't want to hear this, but we're out of order with some things, okay? And look, hey, we're professional women, we're independent women, we're business women, we're all of the above, but we're wives first, right? So with that, being that we're wives first and we're mothers second, and then we of course we're daughters and aunties and friends, but we got to understand that within our household, we have to be everything they need us to be and more. But we got to love ourselves too. So that's where prayer comes in. That's where sitting down and having that relationship with the Lord comes in. And when you don't know how to deal with certain issues with your family or with your spouse, you need to go to Him in prayer first. You need to go to Him in prayer, and then He's going to give you the answers, you guys. Stop telling everybody all your business.
Yeah. Yes. Seek wise counsel. Seek wise
Yes.
counsel. And by that, I mean, if you have to go to a counselor, our first counselor is God. And if it's still not working out for you, you might need to seek therapy.
Yes.
We shy away from therapy and going to marriage counselors and everything because, for one, we think we know it all. But if it isn't working, don't risk your marriage over your ego. Don't risk your marriage over your ego.
That's good. That's good stuff. That ego, honey, rises up.
Oh, yeah.
And not only in us and our husbands too, because I'm the man, and you need to listen to what I say. Not just necessarily our husband. I'm just talking about men in general.
Mhm.
And if we don't listen, that's where they feel like they're being disrespected. And
Right.
sometimes us as women, we just need to be quiet and listen. That should have been one of the words. I know it's not a C, but listening. Just
And
listening to and
comprehending.
comprehending, listening, listen to what they say and comprehend it. And then you might understand where they're coming from. And then they'll understand us better. So, we have to learn that, with them having those type of jobs or just being a man, there's a lot of stress in being a man in the world, not only a Black man, any man,
Yes.
So, with that in mind, don't take all that stuff home to them where they feel like I've been there now. I have. And my husband be like, I just came through the door. And some days he want to talk, and I'm like, well, I don't feel like talking. He'll ask me, like, did you hear me? And I'm like, yeah, I heard you. But some days I don't feel like talking, but I have to. I have to answer his questions. He have to answer mine because I'm gonna keep asking, but that's nagging.
Yeah. And that can be a form of nagging or pestering. I was
Yes.
pestering because sometimes um, when you're being questioned, that can make you feel like you're not being trusted. So
Mm.
you want that. You want that trust in the relationship. And you don't want to break that. That's the foundation of any relationship. Even if it's your friends, your longtime friends,
Mhm.
associates, there's a level of trust.
Yeah, trust is so important to me. So if I can't trust you, then you can't be in my circle anyways.
Yeah.
So and I take my vows very, very serious. I tell people all the time, and that everything they said I'm expecting because God said it. So, I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying that marriage is easy, you guys, but it's worth it if you work on it. And with that in mind, our next C is compromise. What do you have to say about compromise?
That is a large one for me, compromise. Because
Mm-hmm.
my first year of marriage, I really didn't get the compromising. I was
Mm-hmm.
used to working, just being me. So I was used to moving differently. And when
Mm-hmm.
I got married, I was still moving that way. And my
Mm-hmm.
husband had to remind me, we're married, and if you're going out of the city, and I was, you need to let me know because I'm looking for you, and you're in a whole nother city. You out of
Mm-hmm.
town, what people consider to be out of town. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I went because I felt like going. And I had to understand that that was out of order. And I need to
Yeah.
know if I'm going an hour or two away from the home and I'm going to be gone. So when you get home, I won't be there. I really needed to learn that because I was single for so many years. And I didn't tell anybody where I was going when I was single. I went wherever I
Oh,
wanted to go, when I wanted to go.
and you know I did. And the
I,
thing about it is that happened to me too the first year. I'm just used to going in and out, not answering to anybody because I got married at 31. So with that in mind, I'm like, I'm setting my ways. But
oh,
I also know what my duties as a wife is. But at that moment I didn't understand it. So I just left and went to the store and he was like, where did you go? I said, I went to the store. He said, you didn't tell me. I was like, oh, I'm supposed to tell you when I'm walking out the door. But how would I feel if he did the same to me? So that helped me to understand that, yeah, I got the answer to him. He has the answer to me in a respectable way. That's out of respect. And that's where a lot of couples go wrong. They don't respect each other's time, valuable time, and just respecting what they believe in. And then if it is a conflict with something that you used to do, let's sit down and talk about it and then go further. But yeah, I was in that same realm too, Miss LaRonda. I
I,
just walked out like, hey. He was like, where you going?
yeah. So what's those other C's?
The last C that we have is commitment. And with compromising is commitment because we don't compromise a lot. Commitment means that you're going to be committed to your relationship. You're going to be committed to being the best wife you can be, being a great mother. Just committed to when you think about those vows, committing to those vows that you took. And I just feel like respect. I just feel like the respect factor is in all in one is commitment to me.
Yes, I agree. Respect, commitment. I also feel as though boundaries come with those things. The things I did when I was single, I'm not going to do them when I'm married.
Yes.
Clear out that phone of all
Yes.
men or male friends that I was conversing with on a daily basis, and
Hmm.
people argue with me behind the chair about that. But you can't have all those open relationships when you're married.
No, you can't.
You know, it's definitely a thing where you be running and spilling tea, as they call it now, with
Exactly.
with the opposite sex or even with the same. You don't need to be spilling all your tea because marriage is sacred. And that's
That's right.
that we don't talk a lot about. We think that's old school, but it's very sacred. It's between two people and God. And
That's right.
tell everything that goes on in your room, and that's your bedroom, and even inside the four walls of your home, you have to be very careful
That's right.
because there are some people who are thinking they want to be married too. They want what you have. They see it, and they're not so happy about it sometimes, and
Mm.
trying to find that, and they feel like you may have it made, but they don't know what you go through.
They don't know what you go through. And, with that in mind, them not know what we go through, I've had people that say to me, because, Mr. Allen, Mr. Pearl, he cooks great. My husband cooked too. He's a great griller. But I go home and I cook a meal like I'm going to cook. I have my specific days that I go home and cook. And I've had people say, you go home to cook? Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to do for my family because he has Thursdays and Fridays. So we have sat down and talked about the days that the days I would cook or go out and get something to make sure my family eats. And then he has the 2 days too. That's called compromise. That's called coming together. That's called, all communication and without conflict.
Mhm.
So with that in mind, I go and I cook and a lot of people and believe you me, I let them know I'm not a cook, I'm not a chef. I really don't like doing it. But I do it because they like it. My family loves what I cook because they don't know any better. But it's good, you guys. It's good.
But
But
hey,
the
that's
thing about it is I make sure that's our family time. We don't go to the rooms and eat in different rooms. We sit down and we have dinner at our table. And that's what a lot of people are doing. I'm telling you, since COVID, sense. We got all these TVs in these rooms right now. Everybody want to go to their room and be isolated. When you should be down. That's one thing you should do together at least once or twice a year. And we have adult kids, so we have to catch them when we can. And
Yeah.
my babies are but I have to catch them when I can. But when we do have food, I would love for you guys to sit down. Let's talk so that and do it with my husband that works all the time. Make sure that he can, be in the conversation with us so that we can have family time. So
Yeah.
that's very, very, very important. And people, yes, I do have to have my me time. And yes, we go on trips separately, but we have to have time that we go on a trip together. We have to have that one-on-one together. And I remember when I'll give y'all a scenario when we supposed to be going to Dubai and things just didn't go that way. And some of you guys know my story. But what happened is that when we went to Hawaii, I felt like that was the best trip for us. It was romantic, it was a one-on-one, it was beautiful, and I felt like that was good for our relationship. So when you know that and you know that God was all up in that, you cannot question why things didn't happen the way that we wanted. We wanted to go to Dubai really, really bad. We wanted to go really, but that's not what that in that season, that's not what God wanted us to do. So I thank him for he stepped in. He really did. He stepped in and he made a detour for us to go to a beautiful island. And you guys, sometimes the detour isn't always a bad thing in your relationship. So when you get mad, you getting upset and you causing conflict on our seas because you haven't communicated, it's because the detour was for you, was for your relationship. So you need to know that you need to listen, once again, communicate so you won't have those issues all the time. So everything is not always a bad thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you said, um, vacationing together. Um, when my children were young, we did small vacations, and we did like Disney and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
now that my children are grown, me and my husband, we are doing our love list. And
Yes,
our
y'all are.
love list is going places that we have wanted to go. My husband wanted to go to Portland. We went to Portland. We had an amazing time. We have been planning our trips for the whole year. We've already planned every trip we wanted to do. The next one was on my love list too, and we'll be talking about that. But I just want to send an encouraging word to people who are married who feel like they want a way out. It's not always time for a way out. It's
Mm-hmm.
time for you to rejuvenate that marriage. A lot of times when we find new things, exciting things to do, things we did before life hit us. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have been hit with life. If not for anything else, 2020 was topsy turvy for a lot of us. And for
Mm-hmm.
myself, definitely. And I know we talked about 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So now that things are different and you made it through, you better enjoy every day. I look on Facebook and I'm always seeing people saying, rest in peace, rest in paradise. You are living now. Work
Yeah.
on now. Work on today. Sometimes we feel like marriage is hard. Yes, it can be. Life can
Mm-hmm.
be hard, but it's
Mm-hmm.
all in how you interpret it. If you
Mm-hmm.
interpret marriage that this is your guy, this is your girl, this is what you strive to have. Don't spend 20 and 30,000 on a wedding and don't stay
Mm-hmm.
there for a year. Invest
Mm-hmm.
in that marriage because it's not going to be the people that came to your wedding. It's not going to be the people that gave you a card or a gift for everything. It's going to be you two together making
That's
it
right.
work, making it happen every single day. Y'all going to be making that happen. And y'all going to be pressing towards those anniversaries, those highs. You're going to be together throughout the lows too.
Yeah.
You're going to be together. And that's what marriage is. It's a together.
And making them feel appreciated. Like I appreciate my husband and he appreciates me. So, you got to make each other feel appreciated, because this is the thing. If they don't feel appreciated, they're going to continue to work. They're not going to communicate with you. They're not going to want to do things with you or for you, because we have very, very giving husbands. They don't mind doing things for us, but we also are very, very independent. So I tell people all the time, they be like, well, you got a husband, so you can do. I'm like, yeah, I got a husband and he has a wife that works. So we work together. But hey, he is the head. He is the head of our household. And I follow. So
Mhm.
whatever he says, being the head, that's what I'm supposed to do. In all due respect. So what I'm trying to say is that you guys just know biblically we're supposed to, obey the word. People don't want to hear submissive, being submissive, but it's different definitions of that. Well, it's only one, but you got to understand what submissiveness is in a relationship. It's not like I'm going to do what he says. It's about respect, you guys. It's about, and I promise you, I'm not going to sit here because my husband might see this. I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't have a sassy mouth sometimes, because I can't. All right. But I also feel like, okay, I know what to do. I know what to do to clear this thing up. You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
that might,
Exactly.
I know that we ain't going nowhere. We're gonna sit here, we're gonna have this conversation, and it might go over level 6 sometimes. But guess what? We're gonna be okay.
Yes.
Nobody's gonna come in and separate nothing.
Yep. Exactly. And I'm telling you, I vividly remember being a child and my mom and dad discussing things. And as a child, you didn't get in it. So I always say, you don't get in grown people business, you don't get in married people business.
That's
Know
right.
your place. And I know my place in the marriage because, for one, I am definitely a strong-willed person. I was raised that way. My mom was very strong-willed, and I appreciate her. My father was not a stern person, but he was a loving person. So I
Mm-hmm.
looked for a loving man because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I saw. I saw a loving man. And so, as a lot of times we're told you marry your father, and I do believe my husband has a lot, his personality is very similar to my dad. And I know that's what attracted me to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I have, I got a quick mouth. I got a quick, and I do not want to leave anything unturned. I
Mm-hmm.
like completion. So I am a completion person and I
Mm-hmm.
want it done. And I've learned to wait. So that's one of the biggest things in my marriage. I've learned to wait because I was definitely a today person. I want it done today. I want it done quickly, but I'm no longer that person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm thankful because I could have run my husband off being like that. I could have really ran him off. And
Yeah.
and I've learned a lot of patience. Children will give you patience. When you have your children,
Oh,
you
won't
will.
they?
Oh, baby, you will. You will. You will.
Won't they give you patience? But
Yes.
and they're wrapped up in both parents. So you see
Oh,
your kids have you and him and you. So you like, I can't even escape none of this, because if I'm not dealing with him today, I got to deal with this child that's just like him. So but like I said, I still appreciate who he is, who my
oh,
kids have become, because that's just who they are as individuals, and they have to understand me. And a lot of us, and when we started this podcast, it was about living beauty beyond 50. And we all know what's happening beyond 50. Yeah, menopause. So the thing about it is, yeah, some days we are snappy and we don't even understand why. Some days we don't want to, be bothered. But our husbands, I think they're recognizing that, and they're trying to make sure that we are okay, that we get our rest, that because we want to live long lives too, and we need to teach our husbands how to rest, because they don't rest. They don't
Yeah,
rest. So with that in mind, just making sure some days we hot, some days we're cold, and we're wishy-washy as women. We are. And men, they're a little more like this. Okay. So they're trying to ride that road with us. And I'm like, hey, you don't really have to, but they have to. They have to. They have to deal with what's going on with us, but we also have to deal with them too. So just knowing the love language, having that communication is going to help you guys just to be leveled and balanced.
absolutely, absolutely. Level and balance. Thank God for balance, because when you don't have balance in your life, you really, really, really can have a bumpy road. And like you said, that over 50, baby, some days I'm sweating, the next day I'm cold. One day I don't feel like doing hardly anything. Next day I'm ready to roller skate. So
Yeah.
telling you, it's the highs and the lows. And hey, marriage is a road to be traveled.
Yes, it is, but it's a wonderful road, you
It,
guys.
it
If you
is.
haven't tried it, look, don't try to rush nothing. Let
Yeah,
it let God send you the right person, and He
exactly.
will. And
I'm
and
telling
He's not going to be perfect, just like
no,
I'm not
you're not.
perfect.
You're not.
And we're going to learn together because I never lived with anyone like a man or woman. I've never had a roommate. We talked about that. I've never had anybody I lived with. So that's different, living with, someone for the rest of your life. But you end up, knowing each other, and y'all end up being just like this. I
Yeah,
know what he likes, what he loves, what he don't like, what triggers him. I know these things. So
yeah,
why would we try to trigger them? Why would we try to make them mad? Why would we have the things they like or eat or like to wear? We're the only know that other than their mom, and their mom don't know everything about them.
mm,
She knows a little bit, but we know them just as well, right? But just making sure that they stay happy in your
yeah,
marriage, because if the significant other is happy, and I'm not just talking about the man, if significant other is happy, then the relationship would go well. But like we said, communicating, compromising, and the commitment will take you far in your relationship.
absolutely. And the last thing that will really take you far in your marriage, when you are getting to know your spouse, like you said, the things that trigger them, also that mental health. We don't talk enough about that with our spouses. Some
Yeah,
that they're going through, they may not want to share if they don't feel a safe space. And
yeah,
you have to make a safe space for your spouse. You got to give them that. And they also have to return it to you. But as women, we are nurturers. So we have to
hmm
learn to nurture our spouses. We nurture our children. We nurture friends, family members. We are the shoulder that most people lay on, cry on, lean on. But sometimes we don't give that same respect to our partner. Uh,
hmm
and we have to be very careful with that, because they could be suffering in silence. And we don't
yeah,
want that. We don't want that. And June was Men's Mental Health Month.
it
And
was.
I saw a lot of my brothers talking about that journey. That journey is real. And I'm telling you, we have to support our Black men. We have to support them. We really
Hmm
have to do, because a lot of them, they catch hell on their jobs. They catch
hmm
hell with their friends. They don't need to catch hell when they come home.
Oh, they don't. They don't, you
They don't.
guys. We got to
And
do better.
they are passing away of heart attacks, strokes, and
Early,
it's
young.
alarming.
They're at young ages, they're
Yes,
having heart attacks and strokes.
yes,
And like I said, with our families having these type of jobs that really count on them, they don't need the stress at home.
no,
So we just got to make sure. And another thing I'll share with relationships and marriages, we're always on our phone. You can't communicate if you're always on your phone or on your device. I noticed that, and I've heard that before. Well, you always on your phone, but now I do a lot of things on my phone, because my phone is like my computer. But when they come home and they want to talk, we got to learn how to get off the phone. And if our favorite show is on television, we need to record it and listen, because they may have had a very, very hectic day. My husband would say sometimes it was hectic. It was this, it was that. And his job is a little more strenuous, but my job is more mental. My job is more mentally, emotionally, and physically. I mean, no, his job is probably more physical, but my job is more, I think, more emotionally and mentally draining. But I love what
Yeah.
I do. But with them, their jobs could be more physical. So I need to make sure that, I don't leave any holes for him to come home to be more stressed out. And it's easily said and done. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't, but I haven't. But I'm recognizing that because I'm hearing a lot, like you said, LaRonda, a lot of men are dying from heart attacks young. And so we got to make sure our husbands stay, level minded and stay calm and their mental is calm. So you guys make sure we take care of our loved ones.
Send them to the doctor. Send them to
Send
the
them to
doctor.
the doctor.
Make sure
Yes.
they keep up with their appointments, prostate. Make sure they get there yearly. Make sure they go to the dentist. We got to check on our men too. Make sure they keeping themselves up.
Ooh, yeah. Thank God for good hygiene. I
Yes.
got a good one. You got a good one. Ooh, honey,
Yes,
thank God for that.
yes, honey, because I'm going to tell you now, in marriage, you have to keep yourself clean. Make sure you're doing your little cleanups now.
Yeah, I'm happy I
Not
don't have that
really,
problem, girl.
but it's summertime, and stuff like my mom used to say, get clean, get that antibacterial soap, then you use your Bath and Body Works. But you might need to clean first, especially.
Clean yourself. Stay right for them. Look
Yes,
presentable. I
yes,
tell I tell my girls, be ye always ready. You want a
yes,
husband, you want to make sure you look like you want one.
yes,
Make sure your conversation is ready for a relationship. Make sure when you listen, men want you to listen. You want one listen. Every time we don't want to listen, but we have to. So show yourself like you ready for a relationship. But if you going in and you depressed and you always got these woes and you want the first thing somebody asks you questions about you and how your day went and it was so negative, talk some positive things, you guys.
yep. Join organizations. If you are really working on yourself, when that man come along, he will find you. You don't need to go
Mhm.
on a hunt for him. He will find
Mm-mm.
a man that find good thing, a good thing.
A
That's
good thing. And
that
build your confidence
kind of
up.
life. He obtains
Yes.
favor from the Lord.
Yeah.
He really does. So
Yes.
if you go find him, you doing his job. You
You
can't do
do.
his job.
Out of order again.
Yeah,
Out
he
of
has
order.
you. That's what it says. A man who findeth him a good one. You out there trying to be the man? Because now I've been there
Yeah.
where I was so independent that I was actually operating in a space where I was the head of my household because I was single.
Yeah.
And coming from that independent side, you can give a man a hard time. You can give him such a run for his money that he's like, I'm out of the game. Because they're not trying to take your position. You can't be the man and the woman. And then you
They
tell
be like, you don't need nobody.
he don't know who he's supposed to be when you twirling and you doing and you telling and you making all the decisions. That's not fair.
Be a lady.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna tell y'all, my husband see this. He gonna take notes. He gonna take notes.
Say again.
He gonna be like, what?
They know it's the truth. They know it's the truth. And they
Yes.
know us just like we know them. And we're just trying to share with others about how we have made it to 20
Yes.
and how we have made it to 30 and how we're going to live life even longer, even more years with this one person. And I'm not saying that those who have done it 2 or 3 times that your marriages haven't been, the best, better than ours. But I'm just saying when you are in it, make it worthwhile. Don't get them a reason want to leave you. Don't give you. I'm sure my mouth has. I'm sure he wanted to get it on his motorcycle and drive away and not come back for a few days. But you better come on back. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, go take your little break. But I see you, and dinner will be on the table when you get back.
Yes. And sometimes like I tell people, sometimes you can, one day you probably miss your spouse when you leave the house. You just feel like, can't wait till you get home. And some days you're like, okay, is that the door? Is that him? Those are natural feelings. But in your deepest heart of hearts that that's your soulmate.
Yeah,
That's your soulmate. So,
it is.
you know, and sometimes, the same things that make us, happy and enjoyable about our spouses sometimes brings us sorrow. But we wouldn't change.
Hmm. I
We
wouldn't change it.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
What you wanted is what you desire.
I hear too many stories, girl. I'm grateful.
I'm telling you. And some people tell me all the time, a lot of my single associates tell me that in these streets is some characters. So
Mm.
you really have to decipher who you go deal with. So y'all, I hope this was good.
Yes, it was good.
I hope this was good. So thank you, Dr. P, for
Thank you, Dr. P.
this lesson on marriage. I learned a few things.
I did too. Thank you
I'll
for sharing.
put them in my bank. Try to
Thank
get
you for sharing.
yes, yes, yes. So y'all have an amazing day. And we
Yes. We
had to
will
get
be
on
back on. We're back now. We're back, you guys.
here.
So look out for us. If there's something that you want, a topic that you want us to talk about, let us know. We'll put it on our YouTube and our social media handlers. Just let us know so that we can bring you on. If it's a topic and you think that you might want to come on, we want you on. So we're about to go on vacation. So you might not see us again for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But it's family time. We talked about that. It's family time.
Some
So you guys just and we might go live with our husbands. Who knows? If we can get them to
yes.
come on. If we can get them to
Come
come
on.
on. So just y'all stay tuned. If that's something you want to see. Now we ain't gonna be spilling out the beans about our lives, but don't think you're gonna
I'm
get
still a
don't think
little
you're
bit.
gonna get that tea about something, but it's not gonna be anything negative. They're gonna talk all good things about
Yes. Yes, honey. That's
it.
it. Well, let's sign off.
Yes. All right. Bye bye, you guys.